By beaming into various sectors that are impactful to our growth as a nation,
from energy,
mining,
transport,
construction,
agriculture,
entertainment,
banking,
and health.
Make it that as we bring you insightful and meaningful conversations
To spark your attention.
It's a good morning, Zambia. Good evening, good afternoon, good night, or wherever it is that you could be watching us in around the world. You are on the Sector Spotlight on Light TV Zambia. My name is Martin Lutuna, the host of this program today, and we discuss different sectors of life, even as it depends on mankind. And so today we delve into talking about entrepreneurs and small business owners, as well as access to funding and the economic empowerment, as it were. And so joining me on set is Mr. Michelo Mukata, who is the Public Relations and Communications Manager at the Citizens Economic Empowerment. He joins us today on our Sector Spotlight. Mr. Michelo, welcome to Sector Spotlight.
Thank you, Martin, and hello, viewer.
Good. It's good to have you joining us today, and you're looking great.
Thank you so much. I've been looking forward to coming here and having a conversation with you and the public via Light TV. So very, very excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful indeed. How is CEEC? Where are you coming from?
Well, the commission is good. It's a busy start to the year. We're now officially in the second quarter. So we've moved into second gear of what we have lined up for the citizens of Zambia. So it's been a busy period for us from the 1st of Jan to date.
Yeah, I can understand. How is your annual cycle? When does it start? When does it end? Is it due for January to December?
It is January to December, as it were, but there isn't any start nor end in our implementation of the Citizens Economic Empowerment Act, number 9 of 2006, because this is an ongoing pursuit that we are into, and we won't pump the brakes or sit back and wait for year end. It's always fast paced, and we're very, very excited to always be in this gear and offering what we have to offer to the citizenry.
Wonderful. Yeah. Now, help us understand what is CEEC? For someone who may not know.
Okay. So, like I had briefly mentioned, we are working towards implementing the Citizens Economic Empowerment Act, number 9 of 2006. That is the law that ensures the operations of the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission, which is a statutory body or an organization that falls under this act to provide, according to the act, what is defined as broad-based economic empowerment. And this economic empowerment is towards targeted citizens. It is towards targeted enterprises, be it limited companies or cooperatives. And citizens, in this case, are holders of a green NRSC, and as a company or as an individual, as a cooperative, you should have an entrepreneur undertaking or a business undertaking, or you have identified an economic opportunity. So this speaks to you being either a startup or already existing.
You speak of the fact that CEEC is a statutory body and was established by that Act of Parliament.
Yeah.
And so someone should not misunderstand it as a private entity. It's
a public institution,
as it were. Yeah. What were the goals and objective at its establishment? That should be 2006? Or?
2006. Yeah. That's when the enactment came into being. Yeah. But in terms of operations for the organizations, it was a couple of years later, maybe 2008. And it was to ensure that there is a level playing field when it comes to distribution of economic empowerment opportunities, be it through affordable financing, be it through skills development, be it through productive of honest or productive assets or ownership of productive assets. It could also be through appropriate preferential treatment opportunities for companies, especially in the process of public procurement. So these interventions or these objectives are diverse, but they're integrated. There's a way they link into each other. And this is being done through what we call pillars of economic empowerment. There are 9 of them, and the most popular one over the years has been that of access to finance. And rightly so, because the entrepreneurial spirit in the country is quite ripe. It has been ripe for a long time. Appropriate environment has been created, and Zambians have seen the need to get into entrepreneurship, to leverage the pressure of government to always provide jobs, for instance, for them. They are seeing the opportunity to be business owners and in turn create jobs for their fellow citizens. So access to finance has really stood out. But according to the Act, economic empowerment is more than access to finance. It is skills development. You need to have the appropriate entrepreneurial skills for you to even be in a position to utilize responsibly.
Isn't
that money
it that
you
access
receive.
to finance is now impacting economic empowerment? So you talk about access being, economic empowerment being better off than access?
Not necessarily better off, but it's not the only economic empowerment that we are supposed to provide. It is much more. Simply put, it is financing beyond the books, or economic empowerment beyond the books. It's also the appropriate business development services that you need in a company. You need to be able to manage your finances. The basic bookkeeping acumen is imparted to you. You need to market your business appropriately. You need to also have a mindset of making savings from the profits that you have in your business to ensure that you can recapitalize your business. And if you borrowed from a lender, in this case maybe CEEC, the idea is for you to understand that whatever it is that you borrow should be paid back. That is good business practice.
You talked about the level playing field that CEEC was going to create. Has there been that in terms of distribution?
Yes, we are working towards that, and this has been done through creation of financing thresholds, for instance, where 40% of the Economic Empowerment Fund is targeted towards the youth, 40% is going towards women, and 5% to persons with disability, 15% for the men. I think, Martin and viewers, you will agree with me that for the longest time, women, the youth, and people with disability have been marginalized when it comes to economic empowerment programs. And at CEEC, we apply positive discrimination where those thresholds
so
are
when you say have been
deliberately
marginalized by who? Who has marginalized them?
the system. It could also be by geographical location. Rural Zambia might not have, for instance, adequate access to information as people in urban Zambia.
That said, what's the catchment area for CEEC?
It's countrywide. Like I said, you have to be a Zambian with a green NRC. But aside from that, just to ensure that there's that positive discrimination where an equal playing field is kind of created, 90% of this support that CEEC provide is targeted towards rural areas. And if you look at, for instance, our value chain development approach, a majority of that support goes to rural areas, where in places like Sikongo, for instance, we are embarking on the development of a rice value chain. In Sananga, aquaculture. In Namwala, beef loading or beef processing. Then when we go to places like Nakonde, we know that Nakonde is, besides the business, there's the rice. So as CEEC, want to take advantage of that, develop that rice value chain. And this is the model that we have replicated in several parts of the country.
And how has been the impact of CEEC in terms of what distribution and whatnot? Which province have impacted, or is it the whole country? what percentage of impact you should give it a percentage?
I'm not in a position to give a percentage right now, Martin, but the support is widespread. It's countrywide. I was trying to give you examples of where we have gone in, and this is a
I know that
countrywide reflection.
in Western Province, you've about 5,600 beneficiaries.
Yes,
People
yes.
have benefited.
Yeah,
there.
a majority of them women.
Okay, so then I'm looking at northern, eastern, southern, western. Of course, that's a western where there's 5,600.
Yeah.
How about other districts or provinces? Do you have those statistics to say this is how many people have benefited in this province?
And unfortunately, I do not have at this point, but this empowerment is widespread. And Western Province would be a reflection of what is happening across the country. I'll give you an example, for instance, the Marketeer Booster Loan, where we had over 80,000 marketeers countrywide benefiting from that support that was rolled out, where they could access collateral-free financing at zero interest, meaning if they borrow 5,000 kwacha or 1,000 kwacha, because the amounts were between 500 and 5,000 kwacha. If they borrow that amount, they are paying back that amount. And that, for us, was a big win because we were able to penetrate areas that had never seen this kind of support. The little that we were able to provide was able to go a long way, jumpstart these businesses, and also put them in a position to access increased financing.
Talking about collateral, I think it was at the establishment of the CEEC. I was young by then, and then so I took advantage. I had a very good business idea, of which when CEEC was being established, I put my proposals there, and collateral. You told to say you need to have a house or you need to have this, and it became so difficult for me to get that money that I applied for. What have you done to make it easy for someone to access funds with CEEC?
All right. Now, let me make you understand, Martin, that the resources that the Commission disburses through business loans are not CEEC resources. These are resources of the people, taxpayers' money. This allocation comes to us from the budget presentation by the Ministry of Finance, and we get that money and we disburse it to the citizenry. The Empowerment Fund is a special purpose vehicle that the government has created for you who's watching right now, to be able to access affordable financing. All right? So the asking for collateral is to ensure that the investment that we are making in you is protected. We should be in a position to reap back what we invested in you, in a position that you're not able to pay, so that it doesn't seem like a loss. The DNA of the Empowerment Fund is when you borrow as Martin, or when you borrow, dear viewer, you should be able to responsibly utilize that money, grow your business, and pay it back so that the next person can benefit. So the asking for collateral is just a security measure. It's just to take care of this government resource that has been given to you, and as CEEC, we're responsible to ensure that we get it back. However, we are not going to front load collateral. We never do front load collateral. We are just saying, if you do have something that we can more or less keep while you get this money, provide it. If you don't, well and good. You can get the money, but if you're going to buy resources from this money, if you're going to buy equipment rather, that equipment will be in the Commission's name, in government's name. Use that equipment, create your business, create your profits, pay back, and in the long run, we give that
Mr.
equipment
Michelo,
to
do
you.
you think CEEC is in tandem with the policymakers? Because I think at the time, the policymakers would say each and everyone is welcome. Just as long as you're a Zambian, you're a citizen, just make an application, you'll be funded. You've followed, you've gone to PACRA, you've gone to ZDA, you've gone to ZRA, and you've done all the processes. You have also the certificates, and you have your documents, and then you present them to CEEC based on the information information that you've gotten from the policymakers,
Yeah.
and then come to CEC, you are told, go and have a house, bring us a house, so bring us a vehicle, then we'll give you the money. So is that in sync with the policy statements that come from the powers that be?
It is in sync, very much so. And I just want you to hear me out, Martin, and for the benefit of the viewer. Yes, we are going to ask for that. However, you should be in a position to overcome that asking by, number one, besides stating that, look, I'm not in a position to provide this collateral, you can have the equipment in your name. I'll be able to use that equipment and pay it back. But also, above all else, viability
You
of
communicate
your business.
that to the applicants?
Yes, we do. And there's
Which
several
was
cases.
not communicated to me.
It wasn't communicated as a person who applied. It's quite unfortunate, and on behalf of the commission, please bear with us for that lack of information that was shared to you. But this is something that happens. So many times we've got several cases of people who have received support from the commission, and if they're getting equipment, I'll give you an example of, for instance, the motor vehicles that you have seen on the road, written CEEC, I won't say. Yes. Niatu, Niabonse, Niatu, Kialuna Kaufela.
That project was under what? What's the name of that?
It's a transport loan product on a taxi, minibus, or 5-ton light truck.
No.
A majority of the applicants and eventual beneficiaries did not have the appropriate collateral. But the vehicles themselves did serve and still serve as collateral. They get these vehicles. The white book is in the name of CEEC. They are using them for their various transportation businesses. From those profits, they're able to pay back, and in the long run, they're able to keep that vehicle for themselves. Equally, this is the same approach that has been applied, for instance, to agricultural mechanization loan product.
Well.
Applicants, farmers who were in need to modernize their agricultural undertakings were able to receive tractors and modern farming equipment. Not that they have the appropriate collateral, but that equipment itself serves as collateral. They're using it, they're paying back the facility, and in the long run, it's for them to have a sustainable business, but above all else, on the productive.
So what you're saying is CEC has somehow has relaxed some conditions, or you've decided to be flexible enough to meet the demands of the applicants.
It's always been flexible, and it's just unfortunate that you had that encounter. It's in the DNA of CEEC not to disenfranchise you as a Zambian citizen. If you do not have the appropriate requirements, especially on the collateral bit, you can overcome that, like I'm saying. Get the equipment, utilize it, pay back the facility. That will also contribute to you owning that equipment. But have a viable business application. That is the key. If we are able to be convinced, we'll have no reason but to support you. However, what has happened is an attitude of relaxedness and almost a sense of entitlement when it comes to these public resources. And this is a challenge that the Commission has had.
Mr. Michelo, does CEC have preferences?
In terms of viability, yes. Our preference above all else, it has to be a viable application that you put in. The Commission is not going to risk public resources in an application that is just basic. It's not really bringing out the business and the profitability, sustainability of it running. These are public resources. Before you know it, Martin, you'll be the same one reporting on this platform that CEEC has failed to recover public resources if we do not apply these interventions.
Have people been able to pay back? The
Yes.
ones that have you had any defaulters in the past, and what has happened?
Yeah, it's a two-sided coin. Others are able to create sustainable businesses. I'll give you examples of University of Lusaka, Nomad's Court Lodges, Farmers Rendezvous, Wulozi TV, Chatoa Lodges in the Eastern Province, as well as Eastern Comfort. There are several cases of businesses that have been able to come forward, receive this support, and have created brands and are able to sustain themselves. They've paid back this facility. On the reverse side, others have been so relaxed due to a number of reasons. At times, it's not their fault. Outside to recent unfortunate natural disasters such as poor rainfall that the country recorded in the recent past and power deficit. So, some of the businesses that had been supported before that were in line to record significant profits and be able to pay back the facility. However, they were challenged by a poor rainfall, and we reached out to them to restructure their facilities. Others could not bounce back. Others took the opportunity to restructure with open arms and are in the process of getting back on track. So all in all, it's not a gloomy picture, and equally it's not a satisfactory one. But the opportunity still remains that CEEC will not give up on the applicants, especially if there's commitment from the beneficiary that, look, I received these resources and I'm committed to putting this business back on track, paying back this facility, and creating a sustainable business for myself.
Is CEC after profit making? Do you make profit from what is given, or it should just profit the beneficiaries?
Our profit will come in the creation of sustainable businesses. That is the whole point. It is citizen economic empowerment. By nature, we're not a profit-making organization, but we would want to see the wins coming through the beneficiaries, and that is what we're committed to do.
There is what is called Imisepela Digital Empowerment Project. Is
Okay.
it application?
Yes.
Please shed some light into that.
So the Imisepela app is a purpose-built platform by government to provide economic empowerment opportunities to the Zambian youth. The Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, launched this on the 12th of March, Youth Day 2026. And the Commission, CEEC, is riding on that platform because we are aligned to government's developmental agenda. And again, it also answers your question in terms of the connection between CEEC and policymakers. We are aligned because we are supposed to provide this broad-based economic empowerment to targeted citizens, and particularly for Imisepela, the targeted citizen is the youth. And from about 2023, CEEC had introduced a specific youth loan product called Busulu. And after redesigning it, it was only right that we should have that loan product on a youth-oriented app like Imisepela. And that is why the Busulu loan product now can be accessed via that platform called Imisepela. So just to clear out or clarify, Imisepela is not a CEEC application. It is bigger than CEEC, and CEEC simply feeds into it through this one product called Busulu. And we're saying, if you're a Zambian youth...
So Imisepela is not a product of CEEC?
No, it is not.
It's like Smart Zambia and then different platforms there?
Absolutely, like the government service bus,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And we are putting our youth-oriented loan product called Busulu on that platform. Because Imisepela in itself, like I said, youth economic empowerment hub that will focus on, for instance, advertising jobs. If there are vacancies, that will be found on the app. Grants will be found on the app. Business loans, where CEEC has put the Busulu loan, it is found on the app. And above all else, a component of news. Empowerment is the greatest, or information is the greatest form of empowerment. So news as well, just so the Zambian youth can know what is going on in the country, and also put leaders to account by just accessing all this off the palm of their hands through the mobile phone.
Mr. Michelo, there's been so many empowerment enticements out there. And, people say empowerment this, they will use the name of the president, they use the name of the CEEC, we are empowering this and that. Have you ever fought those battles with fake pages and whatnot, where people are using the name of CEEC, which you haven't approved of any of that?
Yes. We have encountered quite a number of those, and we work with responsible agencies to curb that. ZICTA has been a strategic partner for the Commission for some years now, and whenever fake empowerment programs related to CEEC do pop up, we just report those to ZICTA. We are not an enforcement agency. There's nothing much we can do about that besides flag it and ensure that it is clamped for the benefit of the citizenry. And well, in our own way, we do issue notices. We get on platforms like this and just try to correct that narrative.
What other challenges have you faced in the period of operation at CEEC from inception? What are the major challenges that CEEC has gone through?
I think it's just particularly something that you've also raised, a lack of understanding how this program is supposed to work. Once the resources are availed to you, one shouldn't just take it for granted and take it lightly that, oh, this is me, Nivabo maybe, I'm not going to take care of it. Look at the good in that. The DNA, like I said, is for these resources to empower you by becoming an owner of a business, giving you an opportunity to have productive assets in your name. But above all else, you should be able to pass this on to the next person. It's not just for you alone. So responsibly utilize what you have gotten, pay it back. It's only from paying back that we are going to be in a position to pay the next Zambian citizen. These resources that we receive as an empowerment fund are competing against so many other needs in the country. There's CDF, there's needs to pay nurses and teachers and just build infrastructure in the country. Economic empowerment is only a fraction of the so many needs that government has to satisfy. And if in the long run it looks like the provision of this economic empowerment has been taken for granted by the citizenry, it's likely that the little that we get as the Economic Empowerment Fund might even be reduced further because people are not looking at paying back this facility to grow it. So if that challenge can be overcome by the beneficiaries realizing that this is not just theirs alone, but it's for everyone in Zambia to benefit from, therefore, they have to pay it back when they receive it or responsibly utilize it when they receive it.
Mr. Michelo,
it will be good.
Is it true that CEEC sometimes has maybe funds politically connected individuals or persons that have these connections to the politicians?
No, it's not.
Is there anything to that they'll end up saying the Vaboma will use this and we won't pay back? Is that something that is there?
No, it's not true. And I'm saying this because if you look at the application form, for instance, nowhere does that application form ask for political affiliation. Nowhere does it ask for tribe. Nowhere does it ask for any other thing besides your name, your NRC number, you submitting a copy of your NRC, and then we get into what it is that you'll be doing with the money should you receive it for your business. So that narrative is misplaced, and as CEEC, we do not side with that.
That said, help us understand the qualifications of getting a loan from CEEC. Who qualifies?
Yeah, like I've said, Martin, and it has been stated several times, a Zambian with a green NRC, a Zambian who has identified a business opportunity, a Zambian who is already in entrepreneurship. So it could be a startup or already existing business. Aside from that, you should be able to apply the resources that you receive to create jobs, to develop value chains, from the production of rice to the processing of rice. What role are you playing in there? Are you the special purpose vehicle that will be transporting? Are you the one who will be packaging that rice? Or are you going to be marketing that rice?
How old must they be, the applicants?
A Zambian with a green NRC, when do you get your NRC? 16? Yeah. So, but of sound mind, well, from 18, we should say.
Okay.
Up to whatever age. Yeah. You could be 90 pushing your application.
So I can still
you
go
could
back
be 18 and pushing your application.
I can still go back and revisit my application.
You are welcome.
I'm not
Martin.
old enough.
You are welcome.
We'll take a break, and on the other side, we should be able to open the phone lines. If you have a question or any contribution to Mr. Michelo, you come through on 0974 578988. 0974 578988 is the number that you'll be calling. We'll go on the break for now.
Spotlight shines another bright light into your homes. This is CEEC. Take the spotlight. Take the spotlight.
By beaming into various sectors that are impactful to our growth as a nation,
From energy,
mining,
transport,
construction,
agriculture,
entertainment,
banking,
and health.
Make it that as we bring you insightful and meaningful conversations.
To spark your attention.
Take the spotlight shines another bright light into your homes. This is CEEC. Take the spotlight. Take the spotlight.
By
Christ Life is more than a school. It's a nurturing community. Our qualified teachers use innovative methods that keep the minds and hearts of our students engaged. Our cafeteria isn't just a place to eat. It's a hub of nourishment and community. Our sports activities are always filled with fun and creativity that promote teamwork and confidence in every child. With access to the latest educational software, learners are prepared for the digital age with confidence and creativity, empowering students with skills in and out of the classroom. Swimming is a life skill that is cardinal for survival. Our ballet programs teaches more than just dance. It installs grace, discipline, and expression. The heart of knowledge builds in our school library with a wide collection of fiction, non-fiction, reference material, and digital resources. Our school offers exciting and safe playground facilities for both ECE and primary students. Safety is our top priority, and our drivers are carefully selected for their professionalism and commitment to the well-being of our students. At Christ Life School, we believe education is not just about passing exams. It's about preparation. So, if you are looking for a school that feels like home, where your child will be known, loved, and challenged to reach their highest potential, then Christ Life School is the place.
Take the spotlight shines another bright light into your homes. This is CEEC. Take the spotlight. Take the spotlight.
by beaming into various sectors that are impactful to our growth as a nation,
From energy,
mining,
transport,
construction,
agriculture,
entertainment,
banking,
and health.
Make it that as we bring you insightful and meaningful conversations.
To spark
Thank you so much for still staying with us. It is a Sector Spotlight, and we're discussing with Mr. Michelo Mukata, who is Public Relations and Communications Manager at Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. He's helping us understand the different other things that happen at CEEC, and even to answer those questions that you could be having. As I said, if you must call us live on set, it's 0974 578988, or you can post your comment on Facebook. We'll be able to get that. So, Mr. Michelo, there's a viewer that is saying that is a youth and applied for Ndife Mozi Multipurpose Cooperative Limited for a loan connection, and then for a loan proof as wrong, that even those without connection can get, or prove as prove us wrong, that even those without a connection can get the money and implement their ideas. So he wants you, this is Isaac, he's saying, prove him wrong, that even him without connections, he doesn't know anyone in government, no one does he know at CEEC, but still can get this money.
The facility.
So please prove the viewer wrong.
Well, and thank you very much for that question, Martin, or that comment, and Isaac for pushing in your application. Thank you for looking at CEEC as your source for affordable financing. We can prove you wrong, and we have proven so many times. You can look at the beneficiaries of the Empowerment Fund. I can also direct you to the CEEC Facebook page. You'll be able to see some testimonials of real businesses, actual people behind those businesses, telling the story of how they were able to receive this support. So that's one avenue. However, when it comes to your application, well, when it's evaluated, when it comes across, or when the evaluators come across your application, they'll be able to assess it for viability. And if it passes all the checks, you'll be able to receive that support. So that is the only way we can prove you wrong, particularly for your application. However, in the past, there are several examples of us proving that you do not need any form of connection inside CEEC or higher powers. It's just your viable
that has been the
application.
perception, Mr. Michelo. The perception is CEEC is, you empower each other. You are the same people at that office that are, you are the ones that are benefiting because you have proxies that you use. They apply and then you approve and you are getting shares as it were. So that misconception, if you like, how do you outdo that perception people have about your institution?
Well, perception doesn't mean it's real. It's people just generating and coming up with these narratives to understand why they are not the ones to receive this support. However, that is not the case. Take it from me, Martin, dear viewer, this narrative is incorrect. We urge you to interact with us as much as possible so that you do the right thing when it comes to application and you find yourself in a position of receiving this empowerment cake.
The next viewer says, we put in our application on the Empowerment Plus on the 22nd of February for the transport loan product. Our application, let me read that. Our application status has been on pending view since then. When are we likely to get feedback? Because we are planning on contributing our new funds, but the money has been sitting in the account waiting for your response. When are we likely to get response from CEC to whether we are successful or not? Do you have a timeline when the transport loans will be approved?
Okay, so this has been done it's done in phases. The transport loan product, equally the one before that, loan waste management loan products, are yet to be looked at. The evaluating committee is looking at these on a case-by-case basis.
Do you have a time frame?
From the point we come across your application, we work within 14 days. That is our turnaround time, according to our service charter.
If it goes beyond that?
If it goes beyond that, then it's quite unfortunate. But we will communicate either way. We'll acknowledge that we have received your application. We're looking at it. It's moving from stage to stage. And because that particular applicant is using Empowerment Plus, this is the digital online application system that we
Michelo,
introduced.
do you have less human resource at CEC? Because I think the last time I was there, I think it's last month.
Okay.
There are still queues of people there queuing, and are they making submissions? And it's a busy place, if I must confess. There are people that are always going to CEC.
Yeah.
Do you have enough manpower or woman power? How is it at CEC?
All right, the human resource, according to our organizational structure, at this point is sufficient. We do have people in those positions. So much so that we even have temps and interns coming on board just to lend a helping hand, like you have attested to. It's quite a busy space.
When do you decentralize?
Decentralization at this point is only at or to provincial capital level, where we're able to interact with the citizenry from that end. When we go down to district level and even ward level, it's not yet in position. However, you need to understand that it is beyond CEEC at this point. We have to ensure that, for instance, government has got the adequate resources to ensure decentralization of CEEC even to that level. But this is something that internally has been spoken about. It will be looked at, and if decisions are in the affirmative, we'll be able to see that decentralization at 100%.
Mr. Michelo, are you able to give us stats of last year's beneficiaries from CEEC?
No, I'm not in this position. However, I can allude to, for instance, 74% loan recovery as at the end of the year, December 2025. For us, interventions such as dedicated loan recovery mechanisms were able to help us attain that stat. Yes, it was shy of our target of 90% that we were aiming for, but it was a big thumbs up looking at where we were, for instance, in 2021, where it was about 27% by year end, and that was significantly low. However, with increased human resource, maybe to also answer your question in part, and also dedicated interventions, improved business development service provision, monitoring of the businesses that we support, helped us to get to that rate that we attained.
How many are you targeting at empowering this year?
So we do not particularly set a target. We work with the resources that we have available. So, for instance, the budgetary allocation for the Empowerment Fund for 2026 was 580 million kwacha, all right? And if we receive that entire 580 million kwacha, we'll be in a position to support as many interested people. Again, we do not force you, Martin, to apply. We have to get your interest. And if you see CEEC as your way for receiving that affordable financing, you push in your application. If it's viable, we will support. Again, we're not going to just support for the sake of supporting or to meet the numbers or utilize the resources. If the resources are there and viable applications are not coming in, we'll still come back on this platform and say the same message. Push in your viable application. Only then are you going to be supported.
Are you adequately funded as CEEC based on what are funds enough to accommodate the applicants, or the funds are not enough?
No. Again, it goes back to what I had said in the beginning. Appropriate environment has been created and the entrepreneurial spirit is ripe. I'll give you an example of the just ended call for applications. From the applications that we have recorded on Empowerment Plus, the digital platform alone, in excess of 1,067 applications, over 1 billion kwacha worth of applications. And that's just on one avenue, but we have applications coming in hard copy form from all the 116 districts of the country. You can only imagine how much more those applications are valued at. And this is against the budgetary allocation of 500 million plus. So there's a huge difference. There's a gap that has to be filled. And another way that this gap can be reduced or filled up is if the recipients in the past are committing to paying back, so that we're not only relying on the budgetary allocation, we're able to get from the repayments and submit and support other people who are waiting in line to receive the facility.
Was the 2024-25 budget allocation fully utilized, or you had surplus or something that remained going into 2026?
It was fully utilized, and so much so that some of the businesses that were supported were from the revolving fund, from the repayments that were made, were able to support others through unsolicited loan applications. That's also another avenue. Besides the window for the call for applications, we have another avenue called unsolicited, where people can push in their applications merely by writing to us, unlike applying through the outlined modes of application.
Do you rationalize the resources at CEEC?
As in allocate X amount to this, that. It's all dependent
so
on
that
the needs.
you don't deplete everything. Like, do you want to keep something so not everything is
No,
is given
the goal is to utilize the resources so that we ensure that people are receiving support from us. The rationalization will only come in when we receive adequate repayments. That is where we can only fill in those gaps.
Last question from a viewer is saying, which products on Empowerment Plus have started to receive approvals?
Right now, trade finance, because trade finance is a facility that is ongoing, where somebody comes and pushes in the application with confirmed orders, approved orders that they have to supply these goods to a company, and they have the order, they are in need of the resources. We support those, and this has been something that has been ongoing from inception. Also, some support right now that has been approved is that going towards aquaculture. That is also something that has been approved. And it's just a word to the applicants to bear with us. Maybe turnaround time for them seems a little bit long. We will get to those applications and we'll give you the appropriate feedback. Feedback has been a thorny issue in the past, whether positive or negative. I think it's important that we speak to the applicants, and this is something that we are committing to doing.
Wonderful. Mr. Michelo, in closing, why should the viewers out there or citizens trust CEEC moving forward? Speak into that, face that camera and talk to them, tell them why they should trust to say that application will be attended to with a yes or no, because it's important that somebody receives feedback, even when they have not succeeded. Communicate to them. Why should they trust CEEC moving forward?
Well, the trust has to come in because the Commission internally has committed to providing this broad-based economic empowerment. Yes, some wrongs were made in the past, and the CEEC were on a path to correct those, and will ensure that you who's applied will receive that information or that feedback from us. So give us the benefit of the doubt. So many changes have been made. For instance, Empowerment Plus is one way you are able to track status of your application. That will put us to account as to whether we're doing our job or not. And if it's going to progress from one stage to the next, that should also give you confidence that we are looking at your application, and eventually we'll be able to give you feedback. However, above all else, continue interacting with us. Do not give up on us. Visit any of our countrywide offices and ensure that you get the service that you require from CEEC. Whether positive or negative, it will be beneficial to you. If it's negative, it will help you go back to the drawing board and push in a viable application when opportunity allows. And if it's positive, by all means, please feel free to give us a thumbs up and tell the story so that the next person could also believe in the works of government through CEEC.
I hope you didn't trash my application, Mr. Michelo.
No, is it viable? Is it viable?
Very viable. So this marks our end of this interview. I was joined by Mr. Michelo Mukata, who is Public Relations and Communications Manager at the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. My name is Martin Lutuna. Until next time, bye-bye for now.
The spotlight shines another bright light into your homes. This is CEEC. Take the spotlight. Take the spotlight.
By beaming into various sectors that are impactful to our growth as a nation,
From energy,
mining,
transport,
construction,
agriculture,
entertainment,
banking,
and health.